Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world, they are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it, don't be around. Give me just a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take a pity, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What?
Good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We here each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Got a lot to talk about, a lot of things going on in this nation and around the world, in this city, in this state. But also sitting in with us this morning is Dallas community leader, businessman, activist, whatever you want to call him. Mr. Robert Pitre is sitting in with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Pitre.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett, and good morning to your listening audience.
All righty. But we got a lot of things going on, and get your pen and paper out and be ready for Mr. Greg Barber when he comes along with the Solution and Action Today job line. The SAT job line will be coming up, and have your pen and paper ready to take down some of those numbers that he will give you, websites or whatever, in order for you to become gainfully employed. So be ready for Mr. Greg Barber. He'll be coming along in a few moments. But we got so much things we have to do in this segment. We always like to keep you abreast of African American history. See, on this day in 1964, January 21st, 1964, Carl T. Rowan was named director of the U.S. Information Agency. Also, in 1913, January 21st, Fanny Jackson Coppin, activist, spiritual leader, educator, died in Philadelphia. In 1865, she was one of the first black women to graduate from college. All right. On January 21st, on this date, in 1891, P.D. Smith, inventor, patented the potato digger. The instrument helped with the efficiency and increased the harvest of potatoes. All right, when you eat your potatoes, you think of Brother P.D. Smith. He helped them get them out of the ground real fast. All righty. Also on January 20th, 2009, Barack Obama was inaugurated as 44th president and first black president. Mr. Pitre, were you at the inauguration? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, Reverend. It was a great experience, Reverend.
Yes. What did you like about it?
Well, I think the message was good. The people that was there, we had a very pleasant and happy trip, and everybody was happy and celebrating, the second term of our president. And the message, Reverend, I was probably about 100 yards from the president's inaugural speech, and it was very inspiring, and I listened very closely to what he was saying, and it was a special message in there for everyone. But he was saying some things that black people really needed to hear.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But now. But what about the distraction that they're using on black people?
The man in the tree? Did you?
Oh, no, I ain't thinking about the fella up in the tree, No. The distraction, how is he distracting black people from what President Obama said? What are they using?
Okay,
Who are they using?
Well, I mean, the Republicans is fighting everything.
Yeah, but they're using somebody to distract black people and distract really people in general away from what the president's speech was all about, because this is the strongest speech I've ever heard him make.
It was strong.
It was more or less, I'm not going to take any more
stream.
mess off the Republicans.
Right. But he was signaling to black people also that you have the opportunity. Now, in your past, you've been affected in the past, but the present, it's time to stand up. The president can't make the issues. The issues is in the community that affects us, and we have to bring them to the president. We have to bring it to the masses of the people, because people really feel that we're not discriminated against as a people.
I don't hear hardly anybody talking about that, and that's so true what you said. You know what they're talking about? Was it Beyonce or was it Memorex?
Yeah.
Now that's the distraction. They're using Beyonce.
Right.
That was nothing. I don't know. I don't care if she was lip syncing or not. That was Beyonce singing.
Right. That was her standing there for sure.
And also, believe me, when it's cold like that, if you know how to sing, if you're singing, you know that affects your voice. And she might have been singing. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, it was affecting my feet. Because my feet was cold, it was cold, So, we as a people, we have so many things that affect us as a people, and conspiracies that deny us the opportunities that we need that could help us be successful and live a productive life. And I think that the president was sending some warnings and telling you some things that as a people, we got to, when you look at right now, 48% of all the new AIDS cases in America is black folks. Now, we 13.6% of the population. 60% of new AIDS cases between the age of 13 to 24 is blacks. The penitentiary is full of black people. It's conspiracies that for some we overlook. We worrying about Jerry Jones firing his defensive coach. We worrying about the Atlanta housewives. When you look at in Africa, from 1980 to 2011, 34 million Africans have died of AIDS. 23 million today is dying of AIDS.
Are you insinuating there's genocide?
It's genocide
on
in
Black
America. In Black America.
All right, what about all these young people that are killing themselves with these firearms and all over the nation, not just Chicago.
Right, all over
Not
America.
just Los Angeles, not just New York. Dallas is in it. All your major cities and some smaller towns. We are killing ourselves in record numbers. What's going on? But you still have people that are against having any type of real regulations on guns.
Right. And also we killing ourselves with drugs, the crack cocaine and all these drugs. I mean, and then when you look at right now, 48 to 50% of our young boys are dropping out of school.
But now I hear some cities it might be Dallas or somewhere, but some cities they tell me as high as 65%.
It's very true, very true.
And not even getting a high school diploma.
Not getting a high school.
But do they have any hope? This is what I see: despair, hopelessness. Somewhere down the line, that connection to success have been disconnected.
Very true.
And they don't see themselves moving up in this society the way it stands today. A little black baby is born, and he's born more than likely to a single mother.
Right.
And he's growing up. He's got to be dragged through all these different centers where they get food stamps here. They might get child care here. They might get, just different welfare program. They carry through this. Caseworkers coming by the house. They're living sometimes in conditions of squalor.
Right.
Just because you're poor, you don't have to be,
And many
filthy.
of them.
But what I'm just saying, then he's going to go to a school that's either inferior, or if he's in a good neighborhood, that teacher more than likely don't believe he can learn, so he's not going to be challenged. He's going to be labeled in many cases, saying he's too hyper, something. Just
he's angry. He has to be angry.
He's angry because he don't see his father. His mother is upset because she's been left holding the bag. It's just so many situations where we're raising some young people without hope. They're raised in total despair. So quite naturally, living a long, productive life is not even a part of their thought process.
But there's a solution. There's a solution.
Give us the solution.
The solution is that those of us that's in position with knowledge and the proper understanding of life, and that could go and come, but reaching back to this young person, not just a young black male, just a young black female, reaching back and helping them. I always said, but I was able to. It was not a study. It was just human nature that here's these little kids all around my office, and they living in the crack house, and they running up and down the street, no knowledge, living in a single parent home. It was just that I had to reach out there and help these children.
The crack dealer is the big man in this community.
Right. They knew you have to respect him.
He's the man that all the little boys grow up admiring. He has the bling bling. He
shows success. He shows success.
Drives a nice car, big rims, and all of these things. He's Mr. Success in his community.
Right.
This is what these kids growing up idolizing.
Right. But when you look at, as a business person myself, and being in business in the black community, and you can't go into these financial institutions to borrow money to develop in your community. You can't go into these institutions to borrow money to create jobs and better opportunity. So those kids, they're locked out of society for as being successful. But we have to go.
But what about African Americans your age that has grown up, did pretty well, retired, sitting at home every day? They might go fishing every once in a while, take a vacation every once in a while, but all they're doing is sitting back, doing basically nothing with the life God has given them.
Right. Well,
they retired from what?
They have become selfish. Because I think that if you've been blessed to have the opportunity to have life, and it's just human nature that you ought to want to reach back and help those that need help. And for some reason, it's two things that I feel that's the biggest problem that face our communities, that we have become too selfish and too ignorant. Because the ignorant knowledge that's being taught, the ignorant way of life is being taught to these children about this is a fact of life and this is what you need to do, and if you don't do it this way, and it don't make no sense what they're telling these young people. So we
in
have
other
to
words,
be a positive.
common sense is out the door.
It's out the door. It's out the door.
In other words, this is the way you're making a life, is by being a fool.
Right. Be ignorant.
Oh, God. It's a tough situation.
Oh, yeah.
If you just joined us, this is radio station Knon 89.3 FM on your dial. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning is Mr. Robert Pitre. Producing is Annie, Action Annie. Also, filming is Doc Dockery. Also producing is Clint. And if you'd like to join our conversation, we got a lot of things to talk about. I got a lot of things going on. 972-647-1893. 972 647-1893 is the number to call. Annie, bring up Gerald. Ready? All right. Good morning, Gerald.
Good morning, Brother Barnett, and good morning, Mr. Pitre there. Appreciate you.
Good morning.
Contribution to the community, and especially we get information being Saturday morning. I'm trying to be able to get up and get with it. I want to state this here, everything you talked about, I perhaps have had to deal with it in one way or another. I look at the younger folks. I'm 45. And, we can't blame the white man all the time. That's just like somebody doing wrong and saying the devil made me do it. Well, you got to get the devil off out of you. The devil even said, you read in the story, you can't blame everything on him, So we as parents and all, we got to be responsible and put in the effort to grind ourselves to raise our kids up and not just leave them with grandparents and all. And as a matter of fact, I hope legislators down there in Austin have got my proposal that I proposed to them. If a grandparent got to take care of their kids, grandkids, put the parents on child support. Maybe that'll help them. If they got to be on child support, they might want to implement some of their, instead some of the parental provisions.
Well, some of the one of the things about that, and that might be a good idea, but I don't think so. Many of these parents own drugs
and locked up in prison.
If you add child support on their problems, you just added another layer, another tier onto the problems that they are already having.
Well, I know, that you got with child support, you got these interests and all to be paid done, but not put them on a strenuous one. Something that they can afford to do that, contribute something, because I'm a grandparent, a proud grandparent, 8-month-old grandson, and like I tell my daughter. Well, she's a nurse now.
I tell you what, Gerald. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on hold. That sounds interesting. What you're talking about. We're going to put you on hold because we're up against a short break, and y'all can call us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back.
Knon presents its first Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert 2013. It'll be featuring the Mighty Travelers, Buddy and the Straightway Travelers, the Inspiration Cabaret Singers, and the Lee Street Missionary Baptist Church Choir. This Saturday at 5 p.m. No Walls Ministry, and it's located at 3200 South Lancaster Road, Suite 408, in the back of the Lancaster Keith Shopping Center in Dallas. Your tickets are available at Bubba's Fats Burger in West Dallas, Elaine's Kitchen in South Dallas, Comp Cleaners in Fort Worth, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, and on the web, knon.org. God's got a blessing with your name on it, so you don't want to miss this Knon Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert. It's going to be hosted by Knon's own, the sweetheart of gospel, Francis Smith, and Greg A. Smith. For further information, knon.org or 469-471-4180.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's records and rewind music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
You're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. And we were speaking with Gerald on line 1. And let's see, is Gerald there? Gerald's still there. Gerald, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm going to say this here and I get out the radio.
Okay.
We as grown folks and even with the elderly folks, you look at it and say, hey, well, I'm through with these people. I'm tired and want to give up. But no matter what, as long as you got breath in your body, you're not to give up, The thing about it, each generation got to bring forth the other generation, but we got to be responsible and teach that generation the proper way of coming along, and we've gotten away from that.
That's right. That's right.
And the thing about it is, you got to instill in them and say it and do it just like a kid. If you tell a kid something, that kid respect you if you do it. My dad used to tell us all the time, my older brother now, and he instilled that in them. And I used to be scared. He said, I catch y'all with dope, I'm through with you. He meant that.
Yeah.
Alcohol, he drink, he let them drink. But don't go out there and use that as an excuse to be a fool. I used to play, please don't let my brother and them get no dope. My dad gonna kill him and all that. You got to instill that in the mind that in the population nowadays, you are responsible for your actions.
Yeah, you got to be for real. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll give you a chance, but if you're showing that you don't want to adhere to it, well then, hey, I go and waste my time and my money and energy on someone that really need help and won't help instead of someone that just playing around. And here come a time, you look at it. I remember from Nixon all the way up. Reagan got in office. We thought the world coming to an end. Daddy Bush didn't do too much. He just wanted to get in position. Clinton got in office and he turned this thing around. He made that, 5 years, you're going to be off this social service issue. But if you're not, you're going to do something.
Right. But see, we have to create jobs and opportunity for ourselves. The day is over for other people creating the opportunities for our people. Let
me look at something. Y'all, gentlemen, let's look at this. In 1975, the average income for a white American household was $64,362. The average income in 1975 for the African American household was $7,489. Yeah. The average Hispanic household in 1975, listen to this one. This one you better pay close attention to, was $2,948. 1975, African American household was making more than Hispanics. Yeah. But now let's move it to 2010. The average white household is $83,471. African Americans, $15,065. Hispanics in 2010, $13,655. But now, as of 2010, I've noticed something. Hispanics is moving up and really surpassing us in household wealth for the simple fact they are family oriented and they're culturally cohesive. Until we get there, family orientation, being culturally cohesive, will always lag behind. And if they bring any other ethnic group in, they're going to move past us. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
The thing about it is, Brother Barnett, the black American is so disenfranchised, not only with the government conspiracy and all, but within our own selves. We gotta bring that cohesion back in the 70s and all, back when my father was living and back in those days and in your time. One another help one another. Build a house. If the family was dying, take in the whole family and all. Now it's I got it and you don't. Look at me. I'm shining. Well, that goes back to what I was saying. The ones that want to help, put that in. The ones that want to help and really need it and seeking it, we need to focus on them. The ones that don't want it, we give them an opportunity. Like I say, you can take a horse.
But he's the one that's going to break in your house when you leave.
Well, when he do, put him in jail.
It's a hard situation. See, as I'm looking, white America is just advancing.
Because we don't have our own manufacturers and all of that.
Well, why don't we? Look, I have 5 pages of African American inventions, and almost everything that was invented that we are using until this day was invented by us. But we don't own anything. It's ridiculous. Now, and I can tell y'all where to go on the internet and get all of these inventions and stuff that we've done, but we don't own anything.
Well, it makes it difficult this day and time to own something, Reverend. If we don't come together as a people, if we plan to go to the system and get the support that we need, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Racism is more prevalent than ever before. You know, the racism can deny you great opportunity.
Let me tell you something, Robert. I remember when I was in college, I was a sprinter. I was really one of the top sprinters in the world. We'd be out there on that starting line. White people be up in the stands. We'd be ready to start the 100. We were running 100 yards then, 100 meters. And they'd be calling, hey, calling us out our names, calling me, nigga, this and all. But guess what? When I smoked the track, all them same folk were coming down, trying to catch my hand, touch me, all of this kind of stuff. Look, get our minds focused on being something truly good. Focus in on it. I don't care what the outside. Yeah, have you ever seen them you ever see the Kentucky Derby? They all running with blinders on.
But you know what?
They can't see the next horse.
But you know what they've done about the speed, like your speed, Marion Barnett, in that 100 yards.
Yeah.
Where you started on the 1 yard line, he started on the 80. He had an 80-yard head start.
I understand that. I understand that.
And he beat you. Because he had 80-yard head start, and all he had to run was 20 yards. Now, but like, let's go back to the Kentucky Derby.
See, he know how to win. They run with blinders on. They cannot see the other horse. What they do is run their race.
Right.
And when you run your race, I don't care what the other people or other fella is doing over there, you're going to do your very, very best. And we need to learn to run our race.
But see, the problem with this day and time, the starting gate is not in the same location.
I know all of that. I know it's not an even start.
It's not an even start.
But we just not penalize every generation of our young people to have to start at the same spot we started.
Right.
By starting out, going out and asking somebody else for a job.
Right.
We need to be able to provide something in our own communities and we do. Do you realize we have in 2011 we have $1.1 trillion that they know about?
Oh yeah, now we throw
probably another trillion that they don't know about.
Right.
How underground the country.
Right.
Thank you for your call. All right, that clears the line. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Cartwright. All right. Good morning, Cartwright.
How you doing, sir?
Fine. How are you?
All right. I was saying something about child support and stuff like that.
Yes,
Well, I look at it like this, I pay child support. and I paid it all the way through, never missed a payment. So I feel like the kids coming up these days, having all these kids, they should, stick it to them. That's where I feel about it.
Well, they doing it. They doing it.
Well, now they doing that. Hey, brother, they hunt these little rascals down, and you throw him in jail. That's not going to get any child support because he's not working. And
but in Georgia, and I don't know about the state of Texas, but in Georgia, if you locked up in prison, you still owe child support when you get out.
Which means you'll never get your head above water again.
Right. I did the right thing. I worked. I raised my kids up right. And like I told my kids, I'm not taking care of my grandkids. Unless they pass away or something like that. But as long as they got their health and strength, you can come over and visit Pawpaw, but I'm not taking care of them.
Right.
That's not
makes
my
sense.
job.
But what Gerald had said earlier, a lot of the grandparents is raising their grandchildren because of the situation of the parent. But now
can I interject something right there?
Okay.
The reason why they're raising their grandchildren in many cases is because they didn't raise their children.
Well, that's a possibility.
Now, if you raise your children right, hey, you see your grandchildren when you want to see them.
That's right.
And because your children are going to be responsible, they're going to take care of their families because they're going to raise their kids the way they were raised.
That's right.
But now you have a large amount of African American children that's in foster care. Now, the state is paying the foster families to take care of these children, but now the grandparents cannot get a dime for taking care of their children if they left in the hands of these children.
Right.
I think so. The state should allocate some money for these grandparents that's keeping their grandchildren and keeping them in the family with the family structure instead of putting them in foster care homes and paying the foster families.
Grandparents are so old they can't.
But and then you got to if you're keeping these grandchildren with on a income of retirement or Social Security, you can't afford to keep these grandchildren. You cannot afford to keep them because it really puts you more in poverty as a grandparent. So I think that if the state is going to do anything, they should also have funding for the grandparents.
Right.
So, but what we as a people is things that we need to understand and do, because right now we are not supporting each other. I could look at that my situation, and we were talking about running. Now, I've started on the 1 yard line, and many white businesses in this city has started 80 yards in front of me, and I beat them. And I have been able to become successful.
Why? Because you were focused.
I was focused.
You was focused.
And I knew that I could win. Mm-hmm. I knew that I could win. But now it's kind of like, but they won't let me go into the winner's circle. See, it's like going down. If I go down to one of the casinos and I shoot dice and I win I start with $100. And I win $15,000, and I take my chips and say I'm ready to cash my chips in, and I go to the window and they tell me, no, we ain't gonna cash your chips in. We ain't gonna cash your chips in. And this is the way in winning my race, they're saying to me, hey, Ron Pitre, you might own more land than all of us in this city. We ain't gonna loan you no money on it. We ain't gonna cash your chips. We ain't gonna give you no equity.
Well, we're gonna talk about that because we need an African American bank.
They gonna cash my chips.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your call and comment.
Well, I tell you what, they will not cash your chips.
Yeah. All right.
If you African American in this city.
972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3. Excuse me, and say good morning. Is Devin gone? Okay, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Joseph. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Mr. Joseph Dean. I'm a retired educator from Dallas Independent School District. My wife for 30 years in the same school at O.W. Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have given, and I heard last week, I heard it again this morning, a lot of us retired out here lazy, don't want to give back. But some of us are, but then there's about 80% who are ailing. Just about all of us on some type of medication, seeing the doctor every other week. So you have that thing going on, a lot of good individuals, but their body physically is not able. But then there are a large percentage of us who are going back, volunteering in schools, doing things around our church and in our community that we are doing. Okay, so I said, well, let me call in and hold the banner up for some of us retired heads.
Well, that's good. And that's what it takes.
And I'm glad to hear you, Mr. Dean. You say you taught 30 years in the school system?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And my wife did too.
So you and your wife have some skills that's so much needed, because what I found out when I began to deal with the Dallas Independent School District, looked like our seasoned teachers, everyone I talked to said, oh, no, I'm getting out of the school system. I'm retired. These are the people that we need. Y'all are seasoned. Y'all know the ropes. You know what these children need. Y'all can give guidance. You have wisdom. You have so much to give. And many times I saw many of our most seasoned teachers retire in their 50s, some in their late 40s. And when these are the years that you really learn so much and have so much to give, these are the people I'm calling on to come back and rescue this young generation, because that generation of parents that's over these kids, believe me, Brother Dean, it's a tough situation out there, and I know you know it if you taught over there at Oliver Wendell Holmes. You've seen some things over there. I know an instructor that's taught over there for years, and he tells me about things that's in all of these schools. He taught at home.
My wife taught it over. I taught over at Lincoln.
You taught at Lincoln?
Or H.S. Thompson. Yeah. I was in the battleground area. But here's something else that I wanted to add. Not taking up too much of y'all's time. And that is about the opportunity. The opportunity is there. The opportunity is greater today than it was 40 years ago. In 1963, Dr. King said something. He says, before we had a desire but no opportunity. Now we got opportunity but no desire. He said that back then, because I followed Dr. King. But here's something that's happening, and I see it with my kids. Better schools. My daughter finished Townview, went on college. Nephews, and here's a remnant of our people who are successful. That 80-20 rule, that 20% are being successful. And I'm gonna tell you something what's happening out there.
You talking about that, and also that talented team. I tell you what, keep Mr. Dean on. We gotta take a short break, and we'll come back and talk with him. We'll be back in just 1 second.
If you are the low-income parent or guardian of children in need of childcare, there are programs available in the area that may be just right for you and your kids. Texas Workforce Commission offers solutions for families in need of assistance. Find them on the web at twc.state.tx.us. Click on Programs and Services in the blue bar at the bottom of the page to find out if you are eligible. 211 Texas, a program of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, also offers child care provider referrals for families seeking subsidized child care. Contact them at 211texas.org or dial 211. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905.
Sonny Bryan's Catering presents the 14th annual Knon Blues Festival this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at Poor David's Pub. Join us for the biggest blues event of the year, starring the Royal Rhythmaires, Bobby Patterson, Blues Boy Bo, the Aaron Burton Band, Andrew Jr. Boy Jones featuring Perry LaPie, Pete Barbeck and Seventh Son, Bonafide Blues, the Deep Ellum Rhythm Kings, the Dallas Blues All-Stars featuring Hash Brown and Mike Morgan, the Knon Blues Review with Blue Lisa, Sonny Boy Mark, Greg A. Smith, Jeff Stone, and me, J-Mac. Big Charles Young, the Drew Lane Band with special guest Sir Loin, and the Super Kings. This is the big one. You never know who's going to show up as a special guest. Don't miss out on this huge blues show. Advance tickets are only $15 and are still available at knon.org, Bill's Records in Dallas, and Forever Young in Grand Prairie. See you this weekend at the 14th annual Knon Blues Festival, presented by Sonny Bryan's Catering.
All right, we are back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning, Mr. Robert Pitre. All righty, we have Annie producing, we have Clint, we have Doc Dockery filming. And you can call us at 972-647-1893. Would you bring Joseph back on line 4? All righty. All right, Mr. Dean, are you there?
You got me back.
Okay.
You said something about 80-20.
80-20 rule. 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. And the 80-20 rule is still alive. That 80, we got to get them over into the 20. A lot of those folk will never get up there. And I'm sorry. But that 20%er is the one who is the producer. And what you see happening now, just like I have a nephew who's CFO for Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And I talk to him sometimes. They're looking for other CFOs. Other companies now are looking for blacks in those positions. And all around this nation, these companies are looking for quality of our people to fill these positions. Problem is, we don't apply ourselves. But then there are, in all these schools, and I know Townview is a good example my daughter come out of, there are some high-quality blacks are being produced, and they're going on to these universities, like University of Texas. They are actually coming out, and they are filling these positions, and these companies are actually looking for them. That is happening today.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Dean. Okay. Would you ever, your wife, would y'all ever tolerate your daughter dropping out of school?
Never. Heck no.
Well, see, I'm listening at the tone in your voice. That's unthinkable in your house.
Yes, sir.
But that's not in every house. It's too many houses, go if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Also, I want to ask Mr. Dean a question. Mr. Dean, where 48 to 50% of our young boys in Dallas is dropping out of school, what do you think their future will become?
Well, here's something that has plagued our community, and I work in those areas, over there in Ronnie Just Thompson's Turner Court and Fraser Court and all those areas where our kids are coming out there where they look, they don't see. They need to be exposed to something greater than what they are surrounding. That's the difference.
Is very true.
Between our kids and their kids. It's simply exposure. Until you're exposed to something better, you don't know. But when you know better, you do better.
That's right.
So that group is being lost because they're not being exposed.
But guess who can expose those people? Mr. Joseph Dean is one of the people that can expose those young men. You know better. You've been there. You've done that. You've shown success. Now is the time, maybe, if you're not working for the Dallas Independent School District or anyone else, go and meet with these young people. Talk to these young people. Teach them a skill. Teach them a trade. You're a man that you know more than school teaching because of your age. You learn how to do some of everything. Those of us who grew up years ago, we know how to do some of everything because we were taught as children how to do everything. I can lay brick. I'm a brickmaker. Right. I can do a lot of things that I never had to do in life, but you learned it when you were young years ago. We had to learn all these trades and skills.
Everything that I'm doing today is goals that I set when I was a young boy. But Mr. Dean, can I give you my number and give me a call, because I'd like to talk more to you, Mr. Dean.
Alrighty.
My number is
I tell you what, would you put him on hold and take Mr. Dean's number off the air and you call him back?
Okay. No, I was going to give him my number. I don't mind.
Well, whatever. Give it off there. Give it off.
Okay.
You get it off there. Mr. Dean, would you go on hold and they'll get you that number. We'll get you those numbers. All right? All right. Thank you. That clears the line. 972-647-1893. I guarantee y'all that's so. I'm going to take calls faster. I'm going to take them faster. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to line 2. Let's say good morning to Delvin. All right. Good morning, Delvin.
Yes. How you doing, brother?
Fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I've been listening in for a few weeks, and I try to get you. I hope you're feeling better. Last week you were.
I'm feeling pretty good compared to the man. I was dead in the water last week, man. It was killing me to talk. I had gotten sick that Wednesday and had been sick, and I'm finally getting better. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might know Mr. Pitre. I'm the last class at Bishop College. I was the last class there. I think I know him from that area there.
Okay.
But the brother Dean that just came off, the area he's talking about, I serviced that area with boys clubs, girls clubs, summer camps. I haven't lived in Dallas in about 20 years. But I had summer camps, boys clubs, karate class, you name it, and I had the kitchen down there on Bear Street, community kitchen.
Okay.
And that was my thing. But here's the thing. I don't say nothing unless I have a scientific explanation for what's going on. And for the last 27 years, I have studied us, black people. And I'm going to talk about just a minute here about the ISDs of the country, and I'll use, since that seems like that's the predominant of this conversation. We have to look at this problem from a different perspective. And I ask you guys, just look at this problem through the eyes of a black social scientist. I want you guys to understand that the problems that we'll have, I'm using the ISD and the kids, but this is a problem all throughout the black community. And at any point, I want you guys to ask me any questions about us. And I think I can come up with a scientific explanation. What is happening is that this black America is a scientific laboratory for experiments. Our children and the ISDs, you can come up with any program to try to rectify the problem. You can come up with going to the PTA meetings, going to the school boards, going down to Austin. You can do all those things. They're not going to work if you don't understand that there is a science behind the educational institution. And what I mean is that our children, the goal of the public educational institutions that are in our community are not designed to educate our children. They are designed to imprison our children. And you go, well, why would you do that? Why would you imprison our children? It's to keep employed DAs, prosecutors, bailiffs, jailers, jail operators, all these people within the criminal justice system. Jobs are contingent upon our children failing. So if you got to really understand the core of this problem has nothing to do with whether you're a good parent or a bad parent. When you Sir Delvin, how long you been listening to this program?
How old is he?
Maybe. Excuse me.
How old are you?
I'm 53.
Okay.
All right. How long you been listening to this program?
Well, about maybe 2 months, maybe.
We talk about this all the time. What you're saying.
Okay.
Now, this has been discussed over the years. Without us, the criminal justice system, police, judges, you name it, jailers, whatever, would all collapse. Much of our economy is built on our children failing. We talk about this all the time. And what we're saying is this. If you see a hole in the road, if you don't hit that hole, your car is not going to bounce. You can go around those holes. Rearing of children has a lot to do with whether they're going to hit those holes or not. It has a whole lot. You cannot dispense with good parenting. I'm not telling you something I don't know. I'm telling you from experience. I have 4 children. They all went to college. They're all doing extremely well. And it's because I was a stern, strong, strict parent.
And so am I.
And they went well. Yes, anything could have happened. But it didn't. I didn't give the opportunity to the outside world to really take my children, and they raised them. I raised them. And if anybody wants to make sure their children and do everything they can to make sure their children are successful, they're going to have to cut this frivolous mess out, just giggling about how cute your child is when they're doing wrong and doing everything. That's insanity until we get back to sanity and raising our children. Remember, I was born in the 40s, came up in the 50s and 60s, and things were 1,000 times worse than they are now. But we were raised in a strict manner, and we became successful. So I don't care what kind of experiment society is trying to have on us. We can curtail any experiment if we stick together and raise our children right.
This is Brother Barnett, right?
Right.
I'm talking to. Yes, if the playing field is level. Because I'm going to get off. I'm just saying how this works.
Oh, we know it's not level. We know it's not level. We
know all those things.
We know all of these things.
That's why I called you, Brother Barnett, because I know you understand these things. But how is this implemented to get our kids where they are now? Parenting, that's good. But when you take certain components out of a society, when you take the black male out of the equation,
that's correct.
Equation, and when you take the history of the people out of the equation, and now why I know this thing is working like this, because I can mess up any society through my scientific knowledge. I can go out in Highland Park and destroy those schools. Because hello?
We're listening.
Yeah.
Because first thing I'm going to do, as one who's trying to destroy children, I'm going to take that white male out of the school. I'm going to take the history of the people out of the school. I'm going to take every social program that's within the school that civilized children. I'm taking that out so I can have an uncivilized child, so I can take him and use him for economic purposes, because I know he's going to jail because there's nothing in the school that's going to make him civilized. All the social clubs, every organization, anything that make that child become social cohesive as you use. And why we are not social cohesive? Because there is a science at play.
That's right. We thank you, Deb, and we agree with you, and we thank you. Thank you for the sake of time, because all our lines have been full the whole show. Thank you. Thank you for your call. I agree. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to, where were we? Let's go to line 1 with Reverend Wright. Good morning, Rev.
Good morning, Pastor, Brother Pitre.
Good morning. Good morning.
Fine.
To see you back and doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a very interesting show. I just listened to your call a while ago, and Pastor, we're the word of God tells us we reap what we sow, and these are the results of what was sown. And when I say that, the young man was telling them what was all going on, but why were they when the attack and all of these things were going on with the black men back in the early 70s and the early 80s? Nobody was a voice. There were no real black men, no real, when I say this, and not to my knowledge, there was no real men standing up, black politicians back then saying, you won't put crack in our community. Or the real black preachers couldn't get a voice. Not that they didn't have one, but they couldn't get a voice to stand up and say, you're not going to destroy the black family. This is the result of the destruction of the black family. And before you get anything back, you got to restore the black family. We put together some real black men, about 50, to take back everything that was stolen, and we're going to start with our families. We living in a result, Pastor, of what was sown. These young boys walking around with their pants sagging. I guarantee you there's not a father in that household. And that was by design.
You're right. You're right. My boys wasn't going to sag. They knew good and well if they tried to get out on the streets or go somewhere and get at school and sag, they're going to run into me. You met the school. Wherever they might be, they know they might run into me. I wasn't going to have it.
They might run into your brother. Uncle's going to do him real bad.
That's right.
The family was the majority on the black family was where nobody stood up and said a word, and that's when they started everything. You know what? If mama can't raise these boys at home, how do you think they're going to raise them in school? Majority of the people in these schools are women. And a lot of women hate that, I'm not attacking all black women, but they need to be indicted as well in the 80s when that white man said, you can have this corporate America job and you get rid of your husband, and she did that. This is the result of what was reaped. They talked about child support. White men have left their wives for years. They never had to pay child support. But they realized that the Dr. King died and William Barnett, y'all raised us up and we were going to be the next strong generation. The attack was on us.
Now, Reb, when they dropped the crack cocaine in the late 70s and the early 80s.
86.
1980.
No.
1980.
Crack cocaine was introduced in Dallas by your health director. Well, history. We know when it happened out there in L.A. and in Miami when Ollie North introduced America to crack cocaine. That's been proven. That's not no fact. But in Dallas, it hit here. The person that's over the health department right now introduced on this show and came on and called me early that morning and said, I got to tell the people that something new about to hit the streets of Dallas. It's called crack.
Right. Well, let me
the health director right now. Right. He's the one who did this.
Okay. In the late 60s and 70s, they had heroin. Mm-hmm. They dropped heroin first, and then in 1980 they dropped crack cocaine. Now, they also dropped AIDS in 1980. Now, right now, today, what's affecting our people more than crack cocaine is AIDS. 48% of every new AIDS case in America is black. From age 13 to 24, and I'm going to say it one more time, from 13 to 24, 60% of new AIDS cases is young blacks.
Now, that's from having sex, Brother Pitre.
That's from having sex, using needles, but it's more than.
I tell you what, gentlemen, we're gonna have to run because I'm gonna pass my time. It's 8:00, and next voice you hear after we hear those commercials, you hear from the doctor in the studio. Doctor. All right, we'll be back in just a second. Thank you.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
The once haughty Tea Party has been whittled down to only a nub of its former self, with only 8% of Americans now identifying themselves with a faction. And no wonder, the fiery movement that sprang from legitimate anger over the government bailout of Wall Street banksters quickly got co-opted by Republican political operatives fronting for those same banksters and for such corporate extremists as the Koch brothers. By brandishing the plutocratic agenda of those elites, the party's popular support has dwindled to a nub that's nutty, focusing on what one Republican leader calls tinfoil hat issues. For example, a top agenda item for today's withered Tea Party is a full-bore, howling assault on something that isn't even there. A nefarious United Nations plot to destroy American freedom and establish a UN dictatorship over us. Yes, the same international debating society that the right wing used to mock as meek and weak is presently being recast as a fearsome totalitarian behemoth brazenly stripping our sovereignty from us. The UN's weapon is not some secret army, but a piece of paper. Titled Agenda 21, it's just a series of non-binding UN recommendations to encourage sustainable economic growth in developing nations through voluntary actions. It's an innocuous document with zero force behind it, passed way back in 1992 with the support of Republican President George Bush. Some threat. But in recent months, Agenda 21 was turned into a foaming-at-the-mouth cause by the nattering nabob of nuttiness, Glenn Beck. So Beck's disciples have been waving the tattered Tea Party banner and rushing to the barricades to, by God, defend America from this piece of paper. This is Jim Hightower saying, the wonder is that even 8% of the public has stuck with the Tea Party.
This is William, your videograph reporter at KNON Talk Shows. You can watch Church Forum and Information by going to the KNON.org website. Click on Schedules and choose Church Forum and Information page. Scroll to the bottom and choose your favorite show to watch. This show will be ready for viewing by Tuesday lunchtime. Have a great day.
Time to make a change. Time to make a change.
Oh boy! All right, we're on. That was a short version of our theme song. I'm Marion Barnett, and we're here in our second hour. Our special guest this morning is Mr. Robert Pitre, and we have Doc and all of them here gathered together, Clint and Annie, all here. But now, let me give you some more black facts. All right. Freed blacks under the leadership of Andrew Bynum organized the first African-American Baptist church, originally named the Ethiopian Church of Jesus Christ in Savannah, Georgia. This was in 1788, January 20th. All righty. In 1870, January 20th, Hiram Rhodes Revels from Mississippi was elected as the first black U.S. senator. Hiram Rhodes Revel in 1870. 1930, Delta Sigma Theta, originally founded in 1913, was incorporated. Also 1954, W. Leonard Evans began the nation's first black radio network, where the National Negro Network broadcast on 40 stations. 1954. For years, Robert, we've had no national black network of radio stations or anything else, but they were able to do this in 1954. How do you explain something like that?
Well, we had to be stronger then. You know, we had to be stronger, and we were more united as a people, and we were all suffering from the same problems. See, and it really brought us together.
Is that what it was?
Right.
We all was so discriminated against, so we all had the same problems that could bring us all together a lot easier than one thinking they have a different problem from the other. And now we see ourselves looking down on some, looking up to others, looking sideways, not trusting others. Remember now, we used to be cohesive.
Oh yeah. You know,
we used to be now. But he knows how to destroy. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line Let's get our job line. Line 4. All righty. I see there. All righty. All right. Greg, are you there?
Yes, I am, Reverend Barnett.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing fine.
Yeah. Are there any jobs out there?
Awesome jobs out here this morning. Doing our SAT job line, the Solutions and Access Today job lines brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Saturday here on Knon 89.3. This morning we have Floor and Decor Outlets of America is looking for a warehouse specialist. They're asking you to apply online at www.flooranddecor.hua.hrsmart.com. Once again, that web address is www.flooranddecor, spelled out, .hua.hrsmart.com. 1-800-FLOWERS is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.1800flowers.com. Once again, that's 1-800-FLOWERS is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.1800flowers.com. S&S Solar Turbines is looking for overhaul warehouse technician. They're asking you to apply online at www.solarturbines.com. Once again, that Solar Turbines is looking for a overhaul warehouse technician. They're asking you to apply online at www.solarturbines.com. East Penn Manufacturing is looking for a warehouse clerk. They're asking you to fax your resume to 972-616-0685. Once again, East Penn Manufacturing is looking for a warehouse clerk. They're asking you to fax your resume to 972-616-0685. Denitech is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.denitech.iapplicants.com. Once again, that web address is www.denitech.iapplicants.com. If you are a child-loving patient, an energetic individual, and would like to work in a daycare setting, number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving patient, an energetic individual, and would like to work in a daycare setting, number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and needs assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back into mainstream society and needs assistance with job searches, number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job searches, number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. The great Godfather of souls say we are people. We like the birds and the bees. We'd rather die on our feet than live on our knees. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Great job as always. Solution Action Day job line by Mr. Greg Barber. Great job as always. All righty. All right, there's the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Danny. All righty. All right, good morning, Danny. Fine, Danny. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I thought you had fallen off the face of the earth, man.
Well, I have to say I thought the same about you. I happened to be online, and I Googled you. I didn't know you were still on the air.
Is that right? I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, this has been, 3-4 years, maybe more?
Yeah, since I heard from you.
Yeah, well, my bad on that one.
All right, then.
Well, what I wanted to talk about is along the lines of what we're talking about here, and kind of dispute in a way. I think a gentleman called in, he was talking about the various systems and so forth that were against us, and my response is similar to yours, like, what's new?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you've always been against us.
Yeah, you can go ask Kunta Kinte's relatives, and they can tell you all about systems being against us. And so, with that being said, we have the advantage. Mm-hmm. If you consider this a battle, and you already know how your enemy is coming at you, you got the advantage.
You don't
got
have that ain't no advantage.
So what,
No. It's advantage in knowing who your enemy is and where they are and where all the mines are in the field. Here's what. Let me give you. In high school, we played Temple every year.
Okay.
And they had a vicious, mean lineman over there by the name of Joe Green.
All right.
And guess what? Guess where we ran all our plays?
See, away from him.
No, straight at him.
You went at him.
We went at him. And then when we would run a veer off it, it would work. See, the advantage we had, we knew where the real enemy was. We knew we sent 3 guys to block him. He'd blow everybody out of the water. Yeah.
Now my experience was a little bit opposite. We played a lot of John Tyler from Marshall, and when Earl Campbell was there, we couldn't do nothing with him. But with that being said, we learned how to chalk that up as a loss on the calendar because Earl was a absolute talent.
Right.
Bless his heart on his walking troubles now. But check this out. One of the things. Wait a minute. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You perfect.
I just heard my phone beeping. One of the things that troubles me in recent weeks, there's been a lot of talk about KKDA and all of this, and it runs along. All of this is similar to all of our experiences. Our experiences are that way, and the reason we're so hurt by it, and the reason it's such a problem, is that we're not taking care of ourselves.
That's right.
Why are we waiting on Hyman Childs to save our radio station?
Right.
You know, if we wanted KKDA, can't we buy the doggone thing?
Yeah. It's enough black people in Dallas to have bought that station, and you never would have missed a beat, and they could have done many things with it, but but when you depend on somebody else, God bless the child who has his own.
You had it for 42 years, Rev. The blacks had access for 42 years. So that's enough time to make a decision to buy it. And Mr. Childs had the right to sell his station. That was his station.
Well, he had gotten to where he wasn't doing anything with it anyway.
Well, that's another conversation too.
Right.
It wasn't everything we could have used.
Well, now you got people waking up at 5 and they can't hear the dear crooner no more.
Well, and I know it's young people, and I'll there, but boy, you can't hear good music either. But I'm gonna just leave that where that is. This is what I think. There are those who say, well, it's not enough investment capital, but the formula is correct. I can get $1 from enough folks, I can make it happen. And then there's this argument, well, black people can't get together. Well, get real. We get together whenever we want to, don't we?
Yeah, when we really want to. And I'm going to be honest about that. I say it all the time. But it'll never, us getting together, it'll never happen. But it's still that 20%, we had one of the earlier callers talking about, all white people aren't together.
No.
All Hispanic people aren't together. All nobody is together. But if those who God has given gifts and talents to would just do their thing, it lifts everybody. It lifts everyone.
You have got to have good followers if you're going to have good leaders, and vice versa.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Let me say, I don't know what's going to happen with the political thing out in Oak Cliff. This woman who owns a beauty supply says she's going to be running for office. But it does bring up a notion, and I'll just leave it for others to talk about. Why in the world aren't we operating these beauty supply houses? We're the only folks in there.
Well, that's one of those things. Well, you have to look where the supply is coming from. The supply is coming from Asia, and it's coming from places like India. For years, Asians got Indian hair for free. Now they have to pay the Indians for it. Now Asians are bringing the hair, the nails, and whatever, all other things that they're doing. They bring it in. You should see the boxes and boxes of stuff come in on those ships into Los Angeles Harbor. I've seen it. And what's happening now is getting the supply to America and getting us being able to buy supplies from Asia. That's one of the biggest things. So my thing is, black women, I see a whole lot. You see it. I saw a lot of it in Washington during the inauguration this last week. A lot of black women are going natural now.
Well,
they're going natural. They're wearing what God gives us, not being ashamed of what God gives us, and refining what God gives us.
They looked excellent years before this wig/weave business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they looked good.
They were beautiful. They were beautiful. I don't know why they went to it.
Come on, man. All this blue hair and stuff that looks like horse hair. It looks ridiculous.
Now, I didn't say that, y'all. I didn't. Don't y'all be calling in and said I called you.
No, Danny said it. And I got
Danny
said it. I'm telling the same thing. It looks ridiculous. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it. It's my oldest daughter has a 4.0 grade point average in North Texas.
Yes.
And I just want the world to know that.
And Danny, did you put up with any mess when she was growing up?
Ask if she got her tail whipped, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay, then. All righty, then.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny. Good hearing from you. All right, that clears the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go. Well, which one is next? 3. All righty. That's Michael. All right, good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine, how are you this morning?
Oh, doing better, sir. Doing better. You know how we are. We struggle. We have our ups and downs. And I feel very inspired by hearing you and being able to be in community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, go right ahead.
I have 2 suggestions to the question. What do we do now?
Well,
should I share those 2 suggestions?
Please do. Please do. Give us some wisdom. Yes.
Okay. This small area that's got way too many humans with way too little place. It's called a dense population. Has so diverse scale of elders, of wives, and Reverend Dr. Sharon Patterson. We've got Marvin Crenshaw. Reverend Charles Stovall. We got State Senator Royce West. We got Reverend Peter Johnson. We got Roy Williams. We got Miss Kelly Obaze. We got Tunde Obaze. We got Charles McMillan. And that is, I say that's only scratching one edge of one toe, of one foot, of one leg of the body. We have such a diverse group of elders, and I think if we were able to organize and get everybody together in a timely way, and let us right here in the local community, I think I listed a broad range there: state senators and Southern Christian Leadership Conference preachers, and Marvin Crenshaw can, we'll just call him a jack of all trades. Reverend Dr. Sharon Patterson, Reverend Charles Stovall, Roy Williams. These are a broad range, and I think if we could convince everybody to come together in the next 6-8 weeks.
Well, you named off a lot of wisdom, knowledge there that could really help.
One toe. All of us have something to bring, sir. And that would be our first thing, but it is so amazing that last Monday we had to have one of the young children artists, children who know how to do what to do, bring out and do something. Miss Erica Badu at the House of Blues sponsored a no-cost teach-in with entertainment, mixing the arts and the learning of life. And it's amazing that she was the only one who was able to think. And I discussed the short term was getting some of our local people together. And get our local people together, and could I tell you the other suggestion? It's very short.
I tell you what, we're up against a short break. And
get Colin Powell down here. Get Condoleezza Price down here.
Okay. All righty. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your call. We're up against a break, and we'll be back in just one moment.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the KNON Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to KNON.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at KNON.org.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
Back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning is Dallas businessman Robert Pitre. Robert, you say how many square feet of commercial real estate you own here in the city of Dallas?
More than 5 million square feet.
How much money can you borrow from a lending institution here in Dallas with that much real estate?
Well, zero with the collateral. Now, I could go outside of Dallas, which my bank is outside of Dallas. You know, Dallas have never made loans to black businesses. So if you just said, how many blacks in the city of Dallas have a commercial loan, you wouldn't get a call in a week. It would be so few. It's so few. You know, and with all the development around, you know, my commercial.
I heard one caller talk about we are being wanted and taunted for jobs. Jobs is wonderful, but what we need is thriving businesses.
Right, that creates jobs.
That creates more jobs for us.
Right.
And you got 5 million square foot of real estate here, commercial real estate.
Commercial.
And you can't borrow a dime out of a bank in Dallas.
No, you can't. They're going to figure out a reason, and it's not about collateral, it's not about credit, it's not about character.
You got good credit.
Right. It's not about character. I mean, you know, but when you look in the history of this city, you look at the inner cities, look at South Dallas, Oak Cliff, very little development in the last 50 years. You know, now with the development coming, the gentrification around downtown, you look at the Cedars, you could look at the old Thomas and Hall area, that they were able to blight the community, infest it with drugs.
And then just scoop it up for little or nothing.
Scoop it up, and now it's the most valuable piece of property in the city of Dallas right now.
And for you young people, Thomas and Hall, all that area, State Street, going all through there, that all used to be African American owned.
The most
businesses and homes. We own the area.
Right. If you own 6,000 square feet of real estate right now in that Thomas and Hall area, you could get more than $500,000 for it.
6,000 square foot.
Right.
Just 6,000.
Just 6,000.
Just 6,000.
Right.
That's not very large at all.
Right. But you could get more than $500,000 for it.
My. All right, let's go back to our phone line. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to James. All righty. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett. Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, good. I'm sure glad I am feeling better. How are things in Palestine?
They're moving. We have this issue on the flag down here still, but I want to say some quick things. So I won't take up a lot of time, but that flag issue, I think it's going to be on the City Council agenda on the 14th coming up. I mean, the 28th, I'm sorry, January 28th. And also, let me say this right quick. on the 28th in the Westwood Independent School District down here, we have a split district of schools, Palestine Independent and Westwood. They have a gun-toting educator personnel would be carrying a weapon, loaded weapon on the school campuses. And the concern is, we spoke a while back, a couple of weeks back on the school board meeting, but there's another one coming up on the 28th. And the concern is this cultural sensitivity needs to be one of the basic trainings for whoever's going to tote this weapon, because you know how it is that cultural sensitivity is important. We don't want anybody reacting under pressure because of the way we talk and act and dress. And also, I had mentioned that to the school board that a taser would be better than a flesh-tearing, ammunition. Yes, sir.
So they talking about training school teachers?
Yes, sir. Training personnel from the school family itself, either a teacher or someone like that. And we're talking about it down here. There's a few schools over Texas that already has done that. And a while back, that was a Palestine Independent School District. That was a child that had some concern, and the school knew this child, and the child was tasered by the police. And in the newspaper report, the school said we didn't have anything to do with that. And so that's another issue. But I have quite a few of them I want to say right quick. And the one that you and Mr. Pitre was speaking of a minute ago, one of my solutions would be Sunday collection, Monday's deposit. Let's take Sunday's collection and Monday's deposit and create our own credit unions and all, and we can work within our African-American families, knowing that some of us don't make over $500 in a month's time, and we can make loans and, adjust things to our lifestyle, cultural sensitivity stuff, instead of worrying about trying to go downtown and you're not going to get anything. Like he say, he's very important. He owns a lot of things, and he can't go down there. So imagine somebody that wants to buy some lawnmowers and operate their own business or detail service. They can't get anything done.
That's right.
And the other thing, right quick, is in the church house, preachers, pastors, quit being Eli's son, and let's work together. Community organizers, street workers, teachers, coaches, and recreational leaders, and all of us come together. We can do this thing. We can do it. You've been saying that since I've been listening to you, and people need to come together, to retired people, and get involved and show some respect. Our MLK, Dr. King program down here, the parade, it's more people be at the Christmas parade and all the other parades than they be at where respect should be.
Wow.
The other, yes, sir, I know I'll let you respond. I want to say something else. If we go ahead and use the quality circle of the Kwanzaa, and pull that out, if you would, and let's get practice on Kwanzaa and the biblical scriptures. The other thing, Reverend Barnett, and I try to get out right quick, is in the Houston newspaper, November the 23rd, 2012, there was a guy named Jonah Goldberg wrote a subject called Obama Could Transform State of the Black Family. Now, what he have in there is saying blacks are moving away from baseball, and he kind of insulted me a little bit when he said, baseball is a father-son sport, and there's not enough black fathers in the family to teach their kids and catch the ball with them. So, anyway, I could give you his site right quick, and I'm going to respond to this guy. His site is Goldberg, is Jonas, Jonahs, column at AOL.com. Jonahs, Jonas, COLUMN, column at AOL.com. And it's in the Houston newspaper, and I was took aback from this, and I'm going to respond to that guy and send him something.
Okay, then.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the work you're doing, and someday looking forward to coming up.
All right, stay on the walls of the city down there.
Mr. Wynn, sending hello to you, and we appreciate it, and we'll stay in touch with you to let you know what's going on.
All righty then. Stay on the walls of the city of Palestine. Yeah,
Rabbi, I'd like to say something. Now, in 1976, I went in business with 3 $100 bills. I bought a car for $272. I had $28 operating capital. Now, that's kind of the same scenario of starting on the 1 yard line, and the white boy starting on the 80-yard line, and it's 20 yards. He has 20 yards to run. I have 100 yards to run. Now, that $300, I ran from the 1 yard line and won. Now, after continuing to win, and I'm sitting on 5 million square feet of commercial real estate, there's a roadblock. And here is what in my analogy of black people in the city. If they are blocking me, what you think they're doing to you? You know, if you could look at my situation and say to yourself, hey, let's support.
But now, let's not only banks. Let's look at the city.
Right.
They give money and loan money.
Right.
Let's look at labor unions. They invest money. Let's look at a lot of corporations. They invest money in pension funds. There are a lot of ways to get money. But are any of these people, are any of these avenues open to African American business people?
Right. But see, our priorities, like I could show other people in blacks in this city how you could own real estate, how you could invest and make money. But see, if with my success, it would give me a position where I could help other people.
Yeah,
and that's not me.
They're not going to hold you up as a success story. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen because too many people might copy your success story.
And when you look at the city of Dallas, with all the needed infrastructure in southern Dallas, and they talking about development in southern Dallas, and you won't put basic infrastructure, but you want to spend $182 million on a bridge, and you want to come back now and spend another $130 million on another bridge, when you could invest in southern Dallas in communities where you could create jobs and opportunity and bring development. See, we see when you look at
but Robert, as I keep telling you, right now, 2013, January 26th, you are represented from your precinct chair to your city council person, to your school board member, to your state legislative member, your state senator, your county commissioner. You can go then, on every layer of government, you are represented by an African American, except for the U.S. Senate, all the way to the president.
That's right.
Now, if you got all this representation that looks like you, should you not be doing better than you was, you say, what, 1975? Should it not be a much easier struggle now than it was then?
And I agree. And when you see what happened when many of our politicians got the power, they use it against the people, and that's what's happening in our community right now in many cases.
Well, that's what we're saying. And until people wake up and catch on that they're being used and abused, nothing's going to change. Let's go back to our phone line. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Reverend Crenshaw. All righty.
Good morning. This is Reverend Crenshaw.
All right. Is this Reverend Crenshaw in Fort Worth?
Yes, this is Reverend Crenshaw, the one and only.
All righty. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing mighty fine. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
You sound chipper.
Well, I didn't this time last week, but I thank God for it today.
It blew you cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. First of all, about this property and these banks, what they do is what's called redlining.
Right.
So anything inside that red line doesn't get any loans. I don't care how good their credit is.
Well, as long as it's owned by blacks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then even Mexicans, they'll come into a mansion and be working there. And then the mother get on, the father get on, and they pretty soon the whole mansion is owned by the Mexican.
Well, they're together on what they're doing.
Right. I can respect that.
And then right now, the biggest money makers in the United States of America are what? Prisons, penitentiaries, and ballparks. Now, we have a big stake in a lot of that, but guess what? We're on the losing end of both of them.
That's right.
Because after about 5 years of playing ball and retiring, what happens is,
you broke.
Retiring from big sports, the player is bankrupt.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up, Brett. Look, we got a historic game, whether it's Super Bowl coming up, whether we realize it or not. One of the key persons, one of the key men that have pushed all these years about how these African Americans hire these white agents and play ball for all these number of years, and as soon as their career's over, the white agents say, I've lost all your money. Who has been a proponent of telling them to stop that? He's retiring after this Super Bowl. You know what I'm talking about? The greatest linebacker ever to play football, Ray Lewis. He's been pushing that for years. That's why they really don't like Ray Lewis. He said, I know many a ball player that have played ball and doing a career, all they living lavish and living big. But as soon as their career ends, these agents, these white agents, tell them, well, I invest your money.
I made a mistake.
All of it was a mistake. It's all gone.
It's all gone.
All your money and your glory is gone.
My friend that I invested your money with lost it.
And it's happening. It happened. See, we should have learned something from Joe Lewis. It happened with Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis made enough. Last time I saw him alive, he was shaking hands in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas.
Oh, Lordy.
He made enough money to own Caesar's Palace.
I remember Joe Lewis was shaking hands at Caesar's Palace. I believe Caesar's Palace was one of them.
Yeah, well, I shook hands with him there, but he should have owned it. You know, but this is what happened.
Right.
In fact, his first wife left him because.
But I mean, that's happening
let
today.
These guys take their money
Today, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, the previous Cowboys, most of them end up broke.
Yeah,
all of them.
That's
right.
Roger Staubach didn't end up broke.
No, he didn't end up broke. Troy Aikman didn't end up broke.
Yeah.
They were playing football for food.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And next, we were talking about black pride and all. I know when that famous debate between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the hair care extensions come from India.
Mm-hmm.
And but the one that has a monopoly on the nails, and pedicures and manicures, and how to do the hair, put out the chemicals, are sold up by the South Koreans.
Right.
And then music, rap music, actually bigger than country and western.
Mm-hmm.
And the way country and western got all good, they were managing in Nashville these black singers, soul singers. Mm-hmm. And then they want to find a white boy that could really get, so Elvis Presley started gyrating the hips.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that got going.
Well, Elvis would be down there on Beale Street there in Memphis.
Right.
And he came up from Mississippi, and he learned a lot of that. Chuck Berry tells the story all the time, and Little Richard, how Elvis used to come in and just watch them and imitate them. Sure. And they took him and put him on Southern TV and commercialized, and saw that the Southern white girls went crazy over him, gyrating like Chuck Berry did, and he took off from there. But at the same time, they made him the king of, rock and roll?
Yeah, rock and roll.
And we know that that's not true. But they know how to commercialize and stick together and make money off a lot of things that we just play with and toy with and won't get into real business about it. But that's where I take my head off to the rappers. A lot of them sold their CDs out of their trunks of their cars. They gotten together, and a lot of them have made money. You do have the Jay-Z's and the P. Diddy's and a whole lot more of them. They made real money, where a lot of our other greatest singers that you'd be shocked to know, many of them died broke, not a dime.
Oh, yeah. Jackie Wilson.
Yeah. Sammy Davis Jr. died broke. All the money he's made, you can go.
And Altavis had to get out of the mansion.
Yes, had to leave.
Well, he was tired of, he was connected and all that. So.
Yeah, wow. All right, thank you, Rep. We thank you for your call and
Well,
coming.
God bless you.
All right, God bless you.
Call again sometime.
All righty. All right. January 25th, Constance Baker Motley became the first black woman named to a federal judgeship in 1966. In 1972, Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress, opened her historic campaign for president on this date, January 25th. BET, a national cable network in America owned by blacks, began broadcasting on this day in 1980. In 1975, on this day, Diane Taylor married Marion Barnett on January 25th. Bless you, darling. All right.
It's a great day. Great day.
All right. Let me, which one are we on there? 2? Oh, we got a break? All right. I tell you what, we'll be back in just one moment.
211 Texas, a program of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, is committed to helping Texas citizens connect with the services they need. Whether by phone or internet, our goal is to present accurate, well-organized, and easy-to-find information from over 60,000 state and local health and human services programs. We have programs ranging from child care to GED instruction, from dental care to food pantries to public utility services. Contact 211 at 211texas.org or dial 211 to connect with the resources you need. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905 for 211 Texas. Don't let your family go without the help they need.
Sonny Bryan's Catering presents the 14th annual Knon Blues Festival this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at Poor David's Pub. Join us for the biggest blues event of the year, starring the Royal Rhythmaires, Bobby Patterson, Blues Boy Bo, the Aaron Burton Band, Andrew Junior Boy Jones featuring Perry LaPie, Pete Barbeck and Seventh Son, Bonafide Blues, the Deep Ellum Rhythm Kings, the Dallas Blues All-Stars featuring Hash Brown and Mike Morgan, the Knon Blues Review with Blue Lisa, Sonny Boy Mark, Greg A. Smith, Jeff Stone, and me, J-Mac. Big Charles Young, the Drew Lane Band with special guest Sir Loin, and the Super Kings. This is the big one. You never know who's going to show up as a special guest. Don't miss out on this huge blues show. Advance tickets are only $15 and are still available at knon.org, Bill's Records in Dallas, and Forever Young in Grand Prairie. See you this weekend at the 14th annual Knon Blues Festival, presented by Sonny Bryan's Catering.
Knon presents its first Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert 2013. It'll be featuring the Mighty Travelers, Buddy and the Straightway Travelers, the Inspiration Cavalry Singers, and the Lee Street Missionary Baptist Church Choir. This Saturday at 5 p.m. No Walls Ministry, and it's located at 3200 South Lancaster Road, Suite 408, in the back of the Lancaster Keith Shopping Center in Dallas. Your tickets are available at Bubba's Fats Burger in West Dallas, Elaine's Kitchen in South Dallas, Comp Cleaners in Fort Worth, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, and on the web, knon.org. God's got a blessing with your name on it, so you don't want to miss this Knon Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert. It's going to be hosted by Knon's own, the sweetheart of gospel, Francis Smith, and Greg A. Smith. For further information, knon.org or 469-471-4180.
All right, we are back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Annie, Clint, Doc, all producing. And you can get us at 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Graylin. All righty.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Barnett?
Fine, Graylin. How you doing?
I'm blessed. One of the things that I've heard this morning is talking about the gentrification in the black neighborhood and stuff that's going on. And one of the things, I'm in the real estate business and own a business, and I found out that a lot of black people are losing their houses due to back taxes, and meaning that mom and dad paid their rent and paid their taxes, but when they die, all the property is taken back by the city of Dallas and sold down there at the county auction.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that comes from, people, if you raise your children and then they're in your house, a lot of people don't know that when that person dies, you cannot use their tax exemption to, keep riding. You have to go down there and, say that your mother or father, whoever is deceased. If not, then the county takes your tax, have those taxes. You'll have that tax exemption for 10 years. But then all of a sudden they'll go back and they'll say, well, you owe us 10 years back taxes. Then that property is taken down to the tax auctions and put up for sale. So we're losing a lot of our black real estate through these types of deals that are going on. And the main people that are buying it, and nothing against them, are Hispanic. They're going and they're buying all these properties in black neighborhoods, Oak Cliff and everything, while sometimes we move to the suburbs and think that, okay, well, hey, I moved away from that area, so there's no use in me investing in that area.
But what makes the property affordable, and one of the reasons Hispanics can buy, because they could come in and fix it up. African Americans don't have that trade anymore. They are not into construction like in the past, because in most cases that roof is falling in the walls. It's no insulation in the house, and so that the Hispanic can come in and rehab that property and live in it or sell it.
And you are correct, and that's to another point that I'm getting to. A lot of time we try to educate our young people, which is good. But there's an old trade in the black neighborhood. When I grew up, there were a lot of black carpenters. There were a lot of black.
All black homes were built by black people back in the day.
They had trades. They had trades.
And when I used to ride by a construction site, I seen black men.
That's right.
Out there. But now I don't. Now
well, go by the past. Go 45 to Houston and on one of them clear days and holidays, and look over when you get to Huntsville and see where blacks are now.
Yeah,
many.
Yeah. And that's to another point, is that this is where the Hispanics have gotten smart, in that for years they were working, getting that small labor, and then all of a sudden they said, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to sit up here and let this guy use all my people to make all this money, so I'm going to start me a construction company, and I'm going to hire my own people to do this work. And that's what we need to get back to now. As far as in Huntsville or the situation there, a lot of times you hear the word institutional slavery, and that's what the prison system is.
That's right.
I heard a teacher just speak on it just a few minutes ago.
That's right.
Well, the thing is, the way they see it, why should I pay a black man $300 a day when I can get $300 a day for putting him in jail? That's more money to me.
Right.
So you have to understand that that system there is to go against you. Now, what we have to understand
privatization of prisons, yes.
Exactly. And so one of the biggest commissary people of the prison is the guy who owns the Price is Right show, Bob Barker.
Right.
He's one of the biggest members of that prison system. So what we have to understand is that, and I would tell my young people, I coach football and try to deal with young people. I never give up on young people, whether they made mistakes, because we've all made mistakes.
Very true.
You can't give up on them. But the words you have to understand is that if you say can't, you ain't.
That's
you say
right.
do, ooh. So, that's one of the things that we can't give up on these young people. We'll have to teach them how we did it in the past. And one of the things that segregation and the things that when we got with segregation and when it was not segregated anymore, we lost a lot of our black empowerment and black businesses through that.
That's right.
And I will tell you one thing, though. I learned this from an old white gentleman that I was doing business with him. And the first time I was doing my business, I told him, I said, well, I want to do this business and I want to, help my people and do this and do that. And he said, Mr. Jackson, He said, that is fine. He said, but I'm going to tell you one thing. He said, you're going to have to come to me because I've got the money. He said, so he said, I know what you're talking about is good. But sooner or later, you got to deal with me. And there ain't no color on money. All money is green. And so learning that is that we have to learn how to deal with Hispanics, learn how to deal with our own people, learn how to deal with white people, and don't limit ourselves. And to another thing that the preacher just said a few minutes ago, out of all the churches and stuff that we have around in Dallas, and if you look over America or the United States, our biggest institution, our biggest buildings are churches.
That's right.
And what we need to do, if those are our empowerment centers, our atoms, if you'll say, then that atom needs to be spread out amongst the people to empowerment. Right. Not to get a television show, not to get another jet, but to empower our people.
All righty. I agree with you 100%. Mr. Jackson, are you retired?
No, sir. I'm not retired. I'm 50 years old, still working.
You 50? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of wisdom for a 50-year-old because your generation had began to fade. Do you remember Jim Crow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, open Jim Crow is still alive. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So a 50-year-old can remember.
Right.
A lot of that wisdom came from my father, who passed, and he told me that he worked on a job for years, and what he told me, he said, "Well, I'm going to work for the white man," but my father always did things. Being a country boy, he raised pigs and did stuff. He said, "Now, if I ask that man for a raise, and that man don't want to give me a raise, and I don't do anything else to get any money, that's my fault because that's his business." He said, "But if I do something else on the side to get me some money, I ain't got to go ask him a raise. I can just keep taking his money and keep making my money."
That's right. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Reb, I tried something the other day, and I was in Oak Cliff, and I said, I'm just going to start turning on streets. Just in every street that I turn on was a church house. In every community, most of the homes in that environment was blighted, hopeless conditions, drug infested, lack of economic development. But every street that I turn on was a church or two.
Do you think all the people in the community go to that church?
I have no idea, but I think the role of the church.
They don't.
But I think that church is a powerful institution.
Oh, that it is.
A powerful institution.
There's no person in all the black community, I don't care who you come up with, that's more powerful than the black preacher.
Right.
The black preacher has the power. Right. I challenge my brethren to go back to Scripture and reread, restudy, and rethink what you've been taught. Because liberation for our people is right there in those scriptures, but you got to go back and recognize it.
Right.
They read it and quote it every day.
Right.
But they don't really recognize. Oh, you're trying to say, well, no, I'm just telling you, get away from a lot of that Eurocentric theology that had taught you how to preach messages that oppress your people rather than to let them know that they are more than conquerors.
Right.
They are victors. They're gallant men. Go back and rethink and redefine a lot of what you're preaching, and I guarantee that'll uplift our people's thinking. Right. All right, let's go back. We only have line 3. All right, let's go to Randy on line 3. All ready?
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Good morning, Randy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm about to get over a cold, thank God, too, and I'm glad you are, too.
Yes, all right.
Hey, sometimes we as individual groups, whether it's race or whether it's lifestyle or whatever, we think we're the worst oppressed people in America. A lot of times I think the people that are involved in the drug war, that are being sent to prison, and their aunts and uncles that don't smoke weed have to bail them out of jail and let them live there for a while. And that's their involvement in this drug war that's been going on for years and years. I think they're the most oppressed people in America. And then I hear the story of the black man, and most people will say, yes, the black man was very oppressed and is still oppressed in America. But you know what? And even people immigrants coming from another country, whatever it may be, taking 10, 15 years to get a citizenship in America, you know, I think sometimes they're the most oppressed people. But what I've looked through history a little bit, and the people I think really were the most oppressed people, and probably are still to today, have finally somehow turned away where they're making money off their oppressors. And that is the Native Americans. The Native Americans were almost wiped from existence. Why? Because they pulled a James Brown to the unbelievable extent. They died on their feet instead of being enslaved by an oppressor. They were put in reservations. They were made deals by the government that as long as the sun shines and the river flows, you will have this land. And then they came back 20, 30 years later and took it. But you know what? They've hung together, and they started making these casinos. So I'm not saying gambling is the way to make your money, but somehow we're in a state where you can't get legalized gambling. For example, Oklahoma. The Native Americans can, because they're an independent nation.
You don't have an idea of what black people have went through in America. You don't have an idea. 400 years of slavery. You understand? Well, you didn't get paid. You come work for me for a year for free, and I could benefit and I could build because of your skills and your knowledge of construction and air conditioning, and I could advance my family. I could be successful because I don't have to pay you. And we talking 400 years of slavery. You know,
I understand what you're saying,
so you don't have an idea.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, I'm completely out of time. Next time, try to call earlier. I know all of our lines been full ever since we've been on the air, but try to call earlier than you and Mr. Pitre. Y'all, we're gonna.
I'm not trying to argue with Mr. Pitre.
But I'd like to talk to Randy outside. I'd like to talk to him outside the radio station. I think he's a good. I think he's a good person. He sounds to be a concerned and a real good person.
All right.
I'd like to talk to him.
All right. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you, Mr. Pitre. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Clint. And coming next is the Workers Beat. And stay tuned to all the great programming here on KNON. And I'm the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Bruton Masters. Service again 11 o'clock every Sunday morning, and Sunday school 9:30. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye bye.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227 or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.